Good morning. Good morning. It's your girl here. How you living? How you living? Today we are going to talk about signatures. You drink coffee. We're going to talk about signatures and the different things that you can use in your signatures. Now, a signature is just a grouping of paper. I'm sure there's another explanation, but that's the one I'm going to stick with. Now, there's a lot of things you can use. You can use music sheets, which I love to use in my journals. I have tons of music sheets. This is um, a music sheet for for paper. Geez, let's try this again. For the piano, some more. I get these at garage sales, so I have a lot of these. I didn't know I had a lot of Christmas ones, but that's for another journal. You can use wrapping paper. This is just some old wrapping paper that I had. That I'm actually going to use this for, let me think, embellishments. And then you have this here, which is big enough to make a signature with. Just fold it in half, or this way. So this is really pretty paper that I found at a garage. No, it had a gift wrapped up from my sister with this paper. And you could also cut this out and use it for an embellishment. You have ledger paper. I found a big ledger at a garage sale for like $5. And it's not vintage, but it had the writing on it that I like. So I went ahead and picked this up. You can use this here. You can use this coating paper. I found a pad of this. You can use magazine papers. Pick things. This one here is an old oh magazine of some sorts. I don't know what. Here we go. This is a 1950s look magazine. Of course, this is Bub Love. No, wrong guy. Anyway, I'm like all sorts of not talking straight today. Anyway, a 1950s look magazine you can use. Anything like that. This is beautiful. Beautifully done. You can also cut out these pictures, some of these pictures, and some of these for embellishments, which we just might do. But we're going to do embellishments probably next week, maybe. Um, you can use, I have this little German book that has songs or poems in it. I'm not sure. This is from 1931, and this was a great find from a garage sale as well. More music paper. You can use cardstock, scrapbook paper. Here are some more magazine sheets that I found, and I just seen some beautiful pictures that I want to use in this journal, like this one here. That is beautiful. And this is from the Magnolia um, magazine that I scored at a garage sale. So, different things you can use. Here's some book pages that you can use. No, is this magazine? Yeah, this is from the magazine. Some more scrap paper. You can use book pages and all kinds of different things besides just copy paper. So you can use envelopes, you can use whatever you want. Um, Dyed papers is something I like to use, but to be honest with you, I don't like to make dye papers. So I found another way of doing it, and this here, I love this. It's just on copy paper, and I made several sheets of just using different inks, some green, some blue. So you get this paper up. Purple, I think that's purple, or is that blue? I don't know. I think it's blue. So there's other ways of dyeing your papers that you don't have to use tea or coffee and wait for it to dry. I'm not a very patient person. So um, today we are going to make papers like this, and we're going to use ink. We're not going to use coffee, tea, any kind of food coloring, nothing like that. We are going to do it in a simple kind of way. So let's go ahead and make some of these papers, and then we'll move on from there. Let me get my ink. And I'm just going to grab some stamps out. Use ink, any kind of ink that you have. Stamps of your choice. Using that ink pad too. And then my new favorite stamp. I love that stamp. Okay, so let's move these to the side. And you just need some copy paper. Some printer paper. I'm using just this plain white. Um, Obviously, that's what it comes in. I wished it would come in like a cream color. I don't know if it does, but that would be awesome. So I'm just going to take a sheet of this, and I'm going to make quite a few of these whoa, quite a few, whoa, there we go. Quite, quite a few of these, because I like to have a lot of writing space in my journals. And since I'm not dyeing this with, water and waiting for it to dry, the making these are just going to go by so much easier and so much faster. All right. So take an ink pad of your choice, and then you're going to lightly go over it like this. Whoa. There we go. And turn it over and just lightly go over your page. One, it's going to give it some color, so it's not stark white. Again, if you want to use stark white in your journals, go ahead. I'm not a stark white kind of gal. I'm just not. Um, I think it looks nice, but it's not what I like. So I'm thinking that maybe one day I'll make one that is like that. I don't know yet. So I'm taking this postcard stamp, and I'm going to do some stamping on this, and it doesn't matter how you do it. I'm just adding a little stamp here and there. Oh, getting some at the edges, and just adding a little something to it. It doesn't matter how you do it, what you use, um, the direction it goes in. That's up to you. This here is just a script stamp that I had gotten from, I think, Joann's, and we don't have a Joann's anymore. It closed. I don't know if you all got one or not, but we don't anymore. Now I want to take my rose stamp and I just want to stamp in the corners because that's just so when the page is folded in half, you will have a rose stamp in the corner. Now this side, we're just going to use this one for this side. You can, like I said, you can use whatever stamp that you want, any color you want. There are no rules for this. It just adds something to your page. Now I'm just doing this little part here, on here like that. And it don't have to be perfect. I'm just doing simple stamping today on my pages. Now you can take and add any kind of image on here with your stamps, flowers, whatever you want. So now when I fold my page, this is how it's going to look. And it's still a writable piece of paper, still write on it, which is awesome. You can also take something that I do enjoy doing and use this one. I'm using the brown. I love the brown, but I like using different colors. Now, instead of using stamps, if you don't have any, let me get you can take stencil and use stencil on your image. Like here, I just want this leaf. So I'm going to take some ink and I'm just going to just gently stencil it. I don't want it super dark, but I just want to add a little something to it. So you can do that. Stencils are really cheap. They have them at the Dollar Tree, and you can grab some there. I found this one at a garage sale, I think. And it's really pretty. I just want to do a light. So you have a page that has a little stenciling on it. Then take your glue bottle or whatever you want and add some like coffee cup stains. That's really cool. And then you have something like that. I also have this stamp. This is a it's got like a schedule for a planner. Oh no, this is for a receipt. And I'm just going to put couple little marks on there. And there is another way of doing a page without one, dyeing it, two, a digital. You can absolutely create your own and make it uh, look absolutely stunning, like I said, without using digitals or tea staining your paper. I have this big old flower stencil. I want to use it. I don't think I've ever used it before. And I don't want the stenciling dark, super dark, you know what I mean? I just want a light stencil on it. Look at that. That is so pretty. And you just get a little color on there. Like I said, so your paper's not so white. If you're that person and you don't want uh something just extremely, if hold on, if you're that person, you don't like white paper, just plain white printer paper in your journal, you can just add a touch of something on here just by a little ink and a stencil. Now, these brushes come from the Dollar Tree. They're great. I know they make some like this for um, blending inks and stuff, and trust me, these little makeup brushes work just as good as the expensive ones they try to get you to buy. So, there's that. See, now you have a beautiful handmade designed paper without the days of waiting for your paper to dry. Again, I don't mind tea staining or coffee staining. Good Lord, I cannot talk today. I think I need more of this. You can do it with just ink, some stencil, some bottles sitting around your house to dip in ink. There he is. Let's do some over here. Get some of that ink off. And you can make you a absolutely beautiful, awesome page for your journal. And again, if you fold this in half, it just looks so much better. Love that. Okay, so let's go back here. Oh my gosh, what did I do with the journal cover? I don't know what I did with it. So we're going to get some of these papers out, and we are going to put a signature together. So, go ahead and make all the papers you want, or don't. I mean, I'm sure your journal is going to look absolutely wonderful no matter what you do. I think I'm going to do something different with this. Yeah. So, find your pages. This one here, I'm just going to fold in half. That one. This one. That. We might as well use old Blue Eyes while we're at it. Get one of these. Get one of these. And let's see. Might as well use this. Okay. So let's take and put this to the side. So these are the papers I'm going to use in my signature. So these, let's do these. I want to add these together. like so it's like this, and this could be a page and this could be a page. So one of the best ways to do this is awesome, is get a piece of paper. I'm going to use a piece of this, and you want to take a strip, some glue, and you want to put some glue on here. Okay, take your paper and just put it on the page like that. And then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to put it like that. Now, I'm not going to put nothing on the inside here because I don't want none of this covered. Well, maybe I will, because I want it to be secure. So let's do this. Let's take this off. And then I want to put some glue just here so it's not covering up the words. And then take your piece and put it like that. And then add some glue here in the center because you want that to be glued down. And then just do that. That way you can fold this in half and then you have another page that you made yourself. This can be folded up like this, and now you have a little pocket that we will glue down once we get the size that you need. So there's a page. We're going to use this one, and we're just going to fold them in half. This one here. This one I'm kind of going to overlap like that. Oops. As soon as I make it even. And then this can fold in like this. And then you'll have another pocket to slip something in. We're going to use this dude. And we'll use another music sheet. I'm going to fold this in half. And then we've got our papers. The signatures are really super simple. They're easy to make. And there's not a lot of tedious work with it, you know what I mean? You just pick some papers, you fold them in half, you put them in the order you want them in, what, you know, how you like them in any order that you want. I'll show you as soon as I'm done here. These are so super simple. They're easy to put together. Now you can use like brown paper bags, those little lunch sacks in these two. I'd use those. Now, I think I want to start with this one here, and then I'm going to put this here, there, and you can do this however you want, in any order that you want, whatever makes you happy. What am I doing? I need to add paper too. Mm, this one, this one. If I get my hands working. I used to be so bad and be like, one of these, and then a plain paper, and then one of these, and you know, I always tried to make sure I would um, oh, how do I want to put it? Do like a page with something on it, and then a page with nothing on it, you know. And then I was like, dude, I'm not even doing all of that anymore. I'm just gonna put it together and let it be what it is. All right, there we go. Now I'm gonna do that, and now we have our um, one of our signatures done. As soon as I can find my cover, I don't know where I set it. There it is. Oh, so there's our cover that we did. Now, just to let you know, just because I've moved on from doing the cover doesn't mean that when I go to make embellishments, I won't add to the cover. Just one moment, I will be right back. Let me pause you. Okay, so like I was saying, we can always add to our journal cover when we are doing our embellishments. So, and I like to wait and add other things until then. So here's our cover. Now, to size your signature to what's going to fit in your journal is you could just measure up, like stick your signature in and then use a ruler. Let me see if I can find a better way of doing this. Oh, okay, that'll work. So lay your journal cover on top, and then you can see, oh yeah, I need so much cut off. Me, I'm not taking a lot off because it doesn't need a lot off. So how we're going to do this, I only need about, you know, that much, an inch maybe, cut off. Um, I don't mind that I have my paper sticking out of my journal. I don't mind that my signatures are bigger sometimes than the journal cover. Um, but I don't want it too much bigger. None of that probably made sense to you guys. So we're going to try this again. Sometimes when we make our signatures and we put them in our journals, sometimes the paper comes out over the edge, is a lot wider or longer than our journal cover, and that's okay. If that is what you like, you do that. I think personally it looks really cool. Um, Case in point, that's why I have fabric all over the edges, sticking out the tops and the bottoms, like with this journal, all the fabric sticking out to me Looks absolutely awesome. I think I went heavy on the fabric with this one, but you can do that. Your pages can be just like half inch, you know, wider or longer than your journal cover, and that's absolutely fine. Again, there are no rules. You can do what you want, how you want it, and as much as you want it. So, me, I'm going to be adding fabrics, so I don't want my papers to be too much bigger than my cover. So you can use your cover to measure out how much you need to cut off, or you can eyeball it, look and say, oh yeah, I just need like, you know, a smidgen, or I need about an inch cut off. I don't know. You do you, boo. You do you. You can eyeball it. You can measure it. I'm not a measuring kind of girl, so I'm not measuring. I'm just, I just am. Now, all of these, I'm going to save these scraps, and then I am going to show you what I'm going to do with those when we get to the whole embellishing section of this series. So there is one signature. I think I'm going to have, this is going to be a two signature book. So my journal, uh, my signature fits in there quite lovely, actually. So we have one more signature for this book to make. And then, probably in tomorrow's um, video, we will sew it, or, well, we'll embarrass, geez, we will embellish our signatures, I think, before we sew them in. I don't know. I don't know. Probably not. We will probably just sew the signatures in the journal and then embellish, because we're not sewing in this. At least I'm not, because I want to show you how to do a journal without doing all the other things, the more advanced things like sewing and uh, distressing and things like that. So I love this page. Let me put that in there. I'm all over the place today, guys. I am so sorry. I really am. It has been some long nights. We're gonna put this in. So let me start this all over. The next video I will do is sewing in your signature in your journal cover. That isn't hard to do. Well, it's not hard for me now. Before, I hated doing it because it was like I messed it up every time I turned around. At least that's what it felt like to me. I don't think that way anymore. I think it's rather simple. So I will show you how I sew in the signatures. And since this isn't a big book, we're not going to need a whole lot to do it. A whole lot of thread and a whole lot of all this other stuff. It's not as complicated if you have one or two signatures, but if you have more, sometimes it can be complicated, like in matching your hose up and all of that. So, oh, come on, it doesn't want to come apart. Ooh, let's do this one. Okay, we're going to take another one of these. and put in. Again, the signatures, I think, is the easy part of journal making. I really do. I'm going to add a piece of this in there. I've got some of this. And I've got some of that. Alright. Let's move my papers to the side so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. Now, in this one, I have decided I want to use a brown bag. And the only thing I'm going to do is take it and fold it in half and leave it like that for the moment. I need to, these papers, and I'll have to make more of these. Alright, let's put this signature together. And I think I want to start out with this here. That is so pretty. Yeah, we'll do it like that. So we're going to put that, this, our brown bag, music sheet, we're going to put this little wrapping paper, and I'm going to make more of these. I'm just, for video purposes, I'm just going to go ahead and put the journal, the signature together, and then I will make other papers here when I am done. Alright, and there is our next signature. And then as soon as I cut this down, we can put this in our journal. And then we can move on to sewing them in and then making embellishments. The embellishments are the fun part. They are now. I didn't used to like making embellishments, but I do now because I don't make it as complicated as some creators do. They get all fancy with it, and honestly, it doesn't need to be that way. It doesn't need to be complicated. All it needs to be is creative, simply creative. So, but that is all for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you're enjoying this series. Again, I know I'm a little rough at it, but I'm actually enjoying it, and I hope you are too. So stay tuned for the next video to where we sew these into our cover, and then we will move on to embellishments and all kinds of other things. So thank you again. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.